What's your worst Valentine's Day experience? I used to go out for a haircut every Thursday after work as my barbers were open late. It was always packed and you'd have to wait for ages, but I got there and sat in the chair and was seen to right away. I chatted to my barber whilst the other two, bored with nothing to do, sat there as well. The whole time no one came into the shop and I turned to my barber and said, "Why is it so quiet tonight?" To which the shy barber who never spoke looked up from his phone and said, "It's Valentine's Day." And my head just dropped and I was like, oh yeah. Anyone else have any pathetic stories like this? A few years back, I got the nice M&S Valentine's meal deal and was sitting with my boyfriend enjoying the sea bass. All of a sudden, a little bone got stuck in my throat, poking me and making me cough. Oh, that is literally my nightmare. I kept coughing and couldn't shift it, so I started to panic and ran to the loo, coughing even more. I gagged a little bit and then regurgitated the bone and fish like a mother penguin. Bit of a mood killer. Probably not the kind of choking on a bone that he was hoping for. On our first Valentine's together, I was supposed to be working but was allowed to finish my shift early as it was pretty dead. I called my then girlfriend to ask if she got my card in the post. Turns out she was on her way through the railway station, so she got off her train and we met up. Of course, nowhere had space, not even Nando's or Pizza Hut. We ended up at McDonald's. My wife is broadly vegetarian because she doesn't like meat, so definitely doesn't eat the meat substitute burgers McDonald's does. So she just had chips and watched me destroy a quarter pounder deluxe, a double cheeseburger, a chocolate shake, and my chips. Since then, it's become a bit of a tradition that we get McDonald's on Valentine's Day. She's since branched out and will get a fish burger to go with her chips. One year we were overseas in a country that didn't have McDonald's, so we bought all the ingredients to make it ourselves, rather than go anywhere else. Someone in the comments says this reminds them of a joke they heard on Reddit a while back. Oh man, so many people in my family reacted really badly when I told them I have a black girlfriend. They're against us being together and won't stop going on about it. Oh no, like who? Who's giving you the most grief? Well, my wife mainly, but also the kids. Terrible. I was working away from home in the middle of nowhere, and I was staying at the local smart country house hotel largely because there weren't a lot of options. I got back from work exhausted on Valentine's Day. The staff called up to my room trying to encourage me to come and eat in their restaurant on my own, on a night when the restaurant was full of couples having romantic dinners. I refused, but agreed to compromise with a pint and a sandwich in the bar. I came down 10 minutes later and sat in the completely empty bar. A very young waitress, barely suppressing a snigger, brought me a rather sad sandwich, crisps, and a beer. Then she said, "Hang on, this isn't very cozy. I'll put some music on for you." She leaves the room, I hear muffled giggles, then that f***ing ghastly Celine Dion song, All By Myself. Starts blaring. Anyway, that's the story of how I paid £100 a night to have the piss taken out of me by hotel staff on Valentine's Day while many miles from my home and family. Still makes my blood boil. Really wish I'd complained, but I wasn't going to pack up and leave. God, what dicks. It's not like it's your fault that they have to work on Valentine's Day. In fact, it's almost directly not your fault because you didn't want to use the restaurant. I mean, they don't even know you. That's so cynical. Listeners, let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think it's a harmless joke or dangerous provocation? In 6th grade, I had a crush on a girl and I wanted to send her a rose and a card, but I didn't want her to know it was me. My handwriting is incredibly distinguishable and I was really shy. So I paid one of my friends $1 to write her name and "Happy Valentine's Day from your secret admirer" on the card. He went to her desk at lunch and turned in the card. Everyone at my lunch table watched as one of the teachers delivered the card to Lauren, for that was her name. We continued to watch as she smiled and giggled with her friends. She then jumped up and ran to the desk where they were selling the card roses, wrote some stuff down, and then ran back to her table. A few moments later, the teacher got up and walked over to my table. She gave the card to my friend, the one that I paid to write the note, and it was from Lauren. She'd recognised his handwriting and wanted to go on a date, so he got up and went to her table and accepted the offer. Jackass. They went on a date and were dating, as much as 6th graders can be, for the rest of the year. She then moved to El Paso at the end of the school year, never to be seen again. How the hell does this girl recognize everyone's handwriting? I have a friend who I've known since I was 5. She and I happened to find ourselves both single and close to each other on Valentine's Day. So we jokingly decided to spend it together so we aren't total losers. I dress up, shirt, tie, jacket, and drive 30 minutes to pick her up, and she's in a slinky red dress with matching high heels. We went to dinner and then a club, and people watched. We told people we weren't a couple, just friends making sure we weren't alone on Valentine's Day. The number of lonely guys coming out of the woodwork to hit on my friend was insane. This one pathetic and desperate guy tried to give her $300 to come home with him. Just to mess with him, she told this guy that if he could get a girl who wanted to take care of me, she'd sleep with him. He went around to all the women in the bar. I'd watch him walk up to a lady, talk her up, and point over to me. I would have loved to hear what he was saying. When my friend and I left, he came running up to us, literally begging for her to stay. Probably the most desperate act I've ever seen. Well, at least you can't possibly feel like a total loser after witnessing that. Side note, she is an amazing wingwoman and totally had your back. I travel a lot for work. As part of it, I spend far too much time in restaurants, most often by myself. No big deal for me, I can eat by myself, see a movie by myself, whatever. So I'm away on a job over Valentine's Day, and I'm in a place seated close to another guy by himself. He's obviously waiting for someone to join him. We start talking and he asks who I'm waiting for. I tell him no one. He is waiting for his girlfriend. She'd just called him. She's running late as usual. He chuckles. As time goes longer, we're talking more. He confides to me that he wants to ask his girlfriend to marry him. I say that's awesome, but he wasn't sure how to do it or when. He even had the ring on him. It was nice, nothing too showy or stupid. This wasn't the kind of restaurant to do that with. And personally, I kinda don't do the whole in public thing. I ask if they have a special place or something that means more to the two of them personally. And he smiles. Indeed, he does, and it now clicks how he wants to do it. Sweet. His cell rings some point after that. Dude has been at the restaurant for over 45 minutes by now. I can tell it's not good. Not good at all. But it's not his girlfriend. I hear, how did that happen? And is she okay? And I just watch his face sink. I've never actually seen someone die in front of me. This is as close as I can imagine. I'm looking at the shell of a man who moments prior was nervous and excited and happy. And I see nothing. There is nothing left. He rises, doing what he can to keep from falling apart, and heads out of the restaurant. So, piecing it together, I'm thinking he just found out his girlfriend, to whom he was ready to propose, was either gravely injured or killed on her way to the restaurant, just moments after speaking to him on the phone. Damn, that took a dark turn. I was not expecting that. My husband and I were at a really fancy steakhouse, the type that will coordinate dinner napkins to the guests' outfits and brush crumbs off the tabletop with a little metal thing between courses. It was all couples everywhere. Valentine's night, right? And there was this one old guy, well dressed, in the corner at a table by himself. It wasn't that he was waiting, he was having this lavish multi-course meal. It sort of looked like he was talking to someone at certain points of the dinner, but there was no one across from him. It also could have been chewing. The steakhouse after all, and he was old, so who knows? Dentures? Anyways, some people think eating alone, especially alone on Valentine's Day, is sad, but I was impressed by this guy. Dining alone like a badass at a fancy steakhouse on Valentine's Day. It just looked like he wanted to treat himself to a good meal and didn't care what day it was or what other people were doing or thinking. So I sent him a bottle of the wine we were drinking. The waiter told me that he and his wife... no. I knew it was coming, still sad. The waiter told me he and his wife have come every year for Valentine's Day and anniversaries for like 25 years. And 2 years ago, his wife died, so he's been coming by himself, eating a big meal and talking to her chair. So sweet, so sad. Someone in the comments says that being comfortable eating by yourself is the mark of a true man, and I totally agree. It goes either way, men or women, but I have nothing but respect for those people. My girlfriend at the time, of 17 years, was quiet and reserved that night. She was tired as well, so we pretty much had the steaks I'd cooked and went to bed. Not in the good way. Even though it was our anniversary the week before and we'd done stuff for that, we still did stuff for Valentine's Day and something felt off. I questioned her about it the following day and she told me that she didn't love me anymore and wanted to split up. Then, less than a month later, I found out that she'd been having an affair with a work colleague for about 4 months by that point. I went on a first date on Valentine's Day around 14 years ago. It was going really well, we were walking through a park and enjoying the snow. He comes closer and I think he's going to kiss me, but right at that moment, a bird decides to shit on my head. I felt it trickling through my hair and down my neck. Naturally, I started crying. He was frantic. He buys me some tissue and wipes to clean myself up and gets me a hot chocolate from a street food van to make me feel better. Anyway, we ended up dating for 6 years, which was awful because he was a narcissistic, abusive asshole, so I should have taken the bird shit as a bad sign. This definitely takes first place in being the worst Valentine's Day I've ever had. I woke up at my boyfriend's feeling absolutely rotten. We'd been drinking the night before, so I thought it was just a hangover. He suggested I take a lateral flow test. Positive. Great. We'd just spent time together, so we thought he'd have it too, but no, he was negative, so I had to leave sharp. Anyway, I got home and I was feeling sorry for myself. A few hours later, he calls me and breaks up with me. Apparently, I didn't do anything to warrant him breaking up with me, he was just sick of being a dick to me. Well, there's another solution for that, but it definitely sounds like you were better off. I took my girlfriend out for dinner at a seafood restaurant that she absolutely adored. I knew the owner and he gave us appetizers they didn't sell yet but were testing out. I spent a small fortune on that day with dinner and flowers, etc. At the end of the night, I dropped her off at her place, we were both living with our parents, and then I drive off. I thought everything went well and I had happy thoughts in my head driving home, but then I got a text message from her breaking up with me. I was floored. She then sends me a bunch of texts saying she thought about it for a couple months but didn't want to spend Christmas, New Year's or Valentine's alone. Separate story, the relationship before her, she broke up with me via email on Christmas morning. It was a long distance relationship, but her Christmas gift was a plane ticket to come spend Christmas week and New Year's with me. I cancelled the ticket without telling her when she informed me she was seeing another guy behind my back. I then heard from her 2 days later when she called me angry saying her plane ticket didn't work. I told her, no shit, you broke up with me so I cancelled it. She informed me she was at the airport with her boyfriend and she was going to use the ticket I gave her to go on vacation with her boyfriend in my city on my dime. So yeah, Christmas and Valentine's are forever tarnished for me. If you're spending Valentine's Day with your significant others, I hope you have a great time. But if not, don't feel bad, it is just another day. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.